Hey, Booker,
Yeah.
what do you think the best part of fishing is here?
Oh, getting to the lake. And now just look at that sun. The water looks like glass. It's not any one individual thing. Those rings or that bait hits the water and you know every fish knows it's there. It's the anticipation of what's going to take a hold of it.
A native Kentuckian, like 5 generations before him, Booker understands the rhythm of the land and respects the gifts that it offers. It is here that Booker finds a balance between some of his favorite pastimes.
All right, so this makes 10. There we are.
Well, how many did you
Duddy, how you doing, puppy?
Well, we did pretty good.
Jack caught a one dandy. Well, that son of a gun weighed a pound.
In other words, he outfoxed you.
Well, he kind of took my spot. He'll take my spot if he can. I can tell you some stories. It's not
Oh, surely not.
absolutely down to golf. I'd like to be remembered by my time that I've spent with in the distilling business. Of course, I've been in the distilling business most of my life. It's getting close to 50 years now, and I'd like to be remembered as actually, I've stuck with it when lots of others faded away, but like my grandfather, he was a strong link. And I'd like to be remembered as the second strongest link in the chain of the Beam family.
Booker Noe, grandson of Jim Beam and 6th-generation master bourbon distiller, carries on his family's heritage of quality bourbon making and pride in craftsmanship.
I was just explaining to Freddie what history means. History is when something happened a long time ago. This is your great-granddaddy's smokehouse where he cured meat like we do too, and you do, and all of us.
He cured all the hams like we did?
Yeah, these hams now, we cure these son of a guns every year. Now, we got some memorabilia here in this box. Different things.
An awful nice looking pocket watch. Whose watch was this?
That's your great-grandfather, my grandfather, Jim Beam. See that ruby there in the middle of it?
Mm-hmm. That watch is worn. Did he carry it
Oh,
every day?
it's worn slick.
That's a pretty watch.
That's a nice watch.
I think this picture, is this Jim Beam, my great-grandfather?
That's right. That's him. Yeah, like I said, it's been cracked, but this is your heritage, and I know you've got the same, instilled in you the same spirit that I've had all my life, and I'm dedicated to Jim Beam and the distillery and everything, and I know you are too, because you've shown it to me, and I know you're going to carry on. Jim Beam was a patient person with integrity and love for the business, because he had to come back after 40 years in the business and outlasted Prohibition by 15 years and came back for another 10 years until he was just about on his deathbed to revive and teach his son and keep the generations going. He was a dapper man. I don't guess I ever saw him without a shirt and tie, a suit. That's one where we differ. I'm not a shirt and tie person. I like just plain old comfortable stuff. He's just well, I'd say 1 in a million. Taking me fishing. That's one of my fondest memories of my grandfather. So he brought me down and gave me just a stick with a string on it and a washer for a sinker, a hook. I never did catch anything, but it was, I always thought I would. Little kid. We would go over to my grandfather, Jim Beam, We'd visit during the holidays. All the holidays we'd go over Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving. My grandmother would make the bourbon cake. Of course, my grandfather would do the carving. That was a great memory. Granddaddy, I love you. You're the greatest. Uncle Jerry, my mother's brother, says, come to work for us. He was in need of an assistant distiller to come in and learn the business, which I did, and it was September of 1951. He was kind of like his father. He was a gentle type person that, I don't guess I've ever seen him angry. I don't know how he held his cool. I'm not that way. I'm just not that way myself. I blow off quite a bit. And I started in production and stayed in that production all my life. It intrigued me, the distilling. There's always something new. It's easy to get sentimental over good bourbon. When we sip it, we just have to wait and just enjoy it and savor the flavor.
Over time, Booker's love of bourbon inspired him to innovate. As master distiller of the world's largest bourbon distilling company, he elevated his art to new levels, ultimately creating what many believe are the world's finest bourbons. Only Booker, with his unique insight into bourbon making and his depth of knowledge, could have achieved this standard. And only Booker can communicate their attributes.
And you'll smell that richness, that caramel nut.
So Freddie, you must feel so much pride for being part of the Jim Beam, as well as the whole small batch experience. I mean, the more than 200-year-old history and heritage and legacy is really, truly remarkable.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the family heritage of Jim Beam.
I can play the piano and sing one song. Oh, Granny, will your doggy bite? Oh, Granny, will he bite? Oh, Granny, will your doggy bite? No, child, no. And you're on the piano, you do it on the black keys. I can still do that. And I learned that from my Jim Beam. Your great-great-grandfather was the 4th generation. Jeremiah's the 5th generation. I'm 6th generation, your father is 7th generation, and you're the 8th generation. Come here, pup. He's a good boy, too. He's 1st generation. Now, we're talking about the ultimate here. This is the ultimate bourbon as far as I'm concerned, and I think when I get through with you, you're gonna agree with me.
It is, of course, his signature bourbon, Booker's, that he's most proud of.
Booker's comes out of the still at 125 proof, 62.5% alcohol. It goes into the rack house. Now, with these rack houses we have, they're 27 barrels high. There's 9 floors, 3 barrels on a floor. Now, this will be on the 5th to 6th floor, and the proof on it varies according to the elevation that it's in these rack houses. So they're not heated or air conditioned in any way. So as it ages, the proof will, on the very bottom, it will decrease. Let's say maybe 1/4 point a year. On the top, it'll increase. This is what I call the center cut, which is in the heart of the building, the very center. It will increase slightly. It is removing water. And in the process, the proof increases and the flavors concentrate. Along with the aging of the liquor, the flavors get more aromatic. I personally look after that, and when the flavors get right, that's when I bring it out of there and put it in the bottle. In other words, it goes straight from the barrel into the bottle. Nothing's been filtered out, added, taken away. Everything that you might say that it originated with or was born with. And people, they just took to it like bees go to the honey. Straight from the barrel, uncut, unfiltered, the Booker. And I was proud to get that on the market. Well, I might say I'd have to take credit for that. And that's my pride and joy.
Dad's very proud of it, and I'm proud of it too. He really started something with the small batch bourbon.
Well, we have 60 rack houses with about 8 or 10 different types of building. You can just see the mass of them here. We've got over 400,000 barrels stored here. This is what we call knobland, and they're multi-springs and so forth up in those hills there. Nazareth Academy, it was a convent, and it was just a stone's throw. Put you right in Jim Beam's backyard in the distillery, and he had a nice big spring there he drew his water from to make his liquor. Clear Springs Distilling Company was the name of it. Grandfather piped water to the convent for him, and before the girls went to bed, they would say, now we're saying a prayer for Jim Beam. He was one of the few distillers that made it through Prohibition, and those prayers might have helped. Well, it didn't hurt nothing. This is my second home. I like the aroma, I like the barrel. And when you're at home, you're the happiest. I'm comfortable in the rack house. Well, my grandfather brought me to the distillery. I never did forget it. It just seems kind of instill something in you when you're with your grandson and how you love your grandchildren. And you want them to be happy, and this is a good way of life. It makes me proud to be here, and does my son too, and you just feel the pride. I mean, you just gotta feel pride. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. I'm just proud of all the Beams. To be able to stick together for that amount of time. Very few families are able to do that, to stay together. So I'm just proud of my heritage and what's been passed on to me and what I can pass on to my son and Fred. The Beams are stick-to-it people. In other words, they're dedicated. When they start into something, they stick with it. And I think that's a good trait. Bourbon is the American spirit made by Americans in America. Here's looking at you. Boy, that's good.